Eleanor's mark. Behind the altar, a narrow door was barely visible, tucked into the corner like an afterthought. Clara hesitated, her pulse quickening. With a deep breath, she pushed it open. A staircase spiraled downward, disappearing into pitch blackness. The air was frigid, thick with the scent of damp stone and old paper. Step by step, she descended, her flashlight flickering with each movement. At the bottom, the walls were covered in hastily drawn symbols, protective wards, prayers, desperate scribbles from those who had sought refuge here. But in the center of the chamber was a single book, lying open as if waiting for her. The book's pages were fragile, crumbling at the edges. It wasn't a Bible. It wasn't even a historical record. It was a personal account. Dr. Holloway's final notes. His handwriting was erratic, his words spiraling into madness. He spoke of a vanishing point, a liminal space where the house cast away its unwanted remnants, a place where the erased could be recovered. But it was dangerous, impossible. The moment someone crossed the threshold, they risked becoming part of it. Clara swallowed hard. She had no choice. If Eleanor was anywhere, she was there. In the corner of the chamber stood a tall, rusted mirror. Its surface was warped, its reflection wrong. As Clara approached, her image flickered, then blinked. Her reflection moved a fraction too late, its mouth twisting into words she couldn't hear. Then, like water disturbed by a single drop, the mirror rippled. Beyond the glass was something else. A hallway lined with doors. Stepping through was like stepping into a void. The air was thick, muffled, as if the world had been wrapped in cotton. The hallway stretched impossibly in both directions, its walls lined with identical doors. The silence was unnatural, pressing against Clara's ears like a living thing. She reached for the nearest handle, hesitating. Each door had a name carved into it. Some were unfamiliar. Others she recognized, people who had gone missing, lost to the house. And then, finally, she found one that made her heart stop. Eleanor Holloway. Clara turned the handle. It wouldn't budge. She pressed her ear to the wood, straining to hear anything on the other side. A faint whisper, distant and weak. "Help me." Panic surged through her. She wasn't too late, but she was running out of time. She pounded on the door, calling Eleanor's name, but her voice was swallowed by the void. This place wasn't just a prison. It was an execution chamber. And Eleanor was fading. The hallway darkened. The air turned ice cold. A slow, dragging sound echoed from behind her. Clara turned, dread clawing up her throat. The shadows at the end of the hall shifted, growing, twisting into something humanoid. No features, no faces, just empty voids where eyes should be. They reached for her, fingers stretching like tendrils of ink. The house hadn't forgotten her. It had followed her here. Clara's mind raced. There had to be a way to break the lock, to pull Eleanor back. The journal had mentioned something, the ritual. The living must leave a mark in the in-between. Heart pounding, she grabbed a pocket knife and pressed it against her palm. With a sharp breath, she cut a shallow line across her skin, smearing her blood over Eleanor's name. The lock clicked. The door groaned open. Clara barely had time to brace before a force pulled her inside. The world tilted, darkness swallowing her whole. Inside, Eleanor stood motionless, her eyes blank, her form flickering like a dying light. The void was claiming her. Clara reached out, her fingers just inches away. "Eleanor, you have to fight!" The shadows surged forward. Clara screamed. And then, everything went black. The darkness closed in, swallowing Clara and Eleanor in its suffocating grip. Time fractured, reality bent. For a moment, just a moment, Clara felt herself slipping. as if she too was being erased. Then a voice, faint, distant, calling her back. A sudden burst of light shattered the void. A breath, a heartbeat. The world lurched, and everything went still. But as the silence settled, one truth remained. This wasn't over. Not yet. The house never let go, and neither did the things that lurked within it. Next time, the Vanishing Point reveals its final secret.